Hey, I've been traveling a lot over the last 3 years. I've taken lots of flights and I've got a wife and 2 young daughters. In this video, I'm going to show you some of the tools and gadgets I use to make my traveling easier. This is a bit of a different video to usual. I'm going to be talking about tech, but I'm also going to be talking about physical stuff. We're going to talk about tools like Herder that run my agents in the cloud, about luggage, power banks, and a lot more. If there's anything I missed out or something cool I should buy for next time, then please let me know. I'm always looking to find new tools that will make my traveling easier. None of the products in this video are sponsored. I only mention them because I like them and have used them myself. I may put affiliate links in the description, but other than that, I'm not making any money from these brands. So the first thing we're going to look at is running your agents non-stop. One of the major annoyances when you're traveling, when you put your laptop in your backpack or you get onto a plane, is that you lose internet connection. Now, one thing you can do to keep your laptop going is running an app like Amphetamine. You can see it up here. I can start a session for an hour. There's also Caffeinate that you can use, but this doesn't solve all your problems because you likely need to have a hotspot on your phone and you need to keep that running. Then when you go into a car park, it just stops, or into an elevator. That can be super annoying. It's okay, but there are better solutions. So one solution is to use cloud servers. You can use a company like Hetzner. So here you can see their pricing starts at around €6 per month. They have better servers that start at around €44 per month. The pricing here went up a ton recently, even doubled or tripled in some cases. Just hardware as a whole has gone up. There's a memory squeeze right now, but you can still get some great deals, much cheaper than something like AWS. Here you can see some older generation servers, CX23 starting at €6 per month for 4 gigabytes of RAM. Now, some advice, if you are using a coding server, something like this starting out is fine. For me, at least, very quickly, this wasn't enough. So my recommendation would be something like 8 or 16 gigabytes. And then the SSD as well has an impact. 40 gigabytes was actually not enough for me at all. So I had to add on another volume, but something like 80 or 160 gigabytes is actually what I'd go for. Storage usually isn't an issue, but at least in my case it was, because I was doing a lot on my development server. Hetzner isn't the only option out there if you want a cheap coding server. Netcup is another. Here you can see pricing starting at €5 per a month. You get 128 gigabytes of space, so that's great. That's a lot more than what we saw at the equivalent price on Hetzner. And here again, you get 4 gigabytes of RAM. One thing to know about Hetzner is they also have auctions. The pricing actually is quite high right now, €57 per month to start. But for that, you get a server with 64 gigabytes of RAM and a 1 terabyte SSD hard drive. You might want to check with an LLM as to what the best option for you is. For just regular coding, you won't actually need this, but if you're using this as a VPS to run your site and you have a lot of traffic, then something like this could be quite good for you and serve all your needs. You'll see lots of different types of servers. So here you can see a Ryzen 5, an Intel Core i7. I don't actually know too well what the differences are, and I just ask an AI if I need to decide on which server is best for me. But for a coding server, you don't need to go all out. Most of the work is the AI doing what it needs to do. You don't need that much CPU or RAM to do a lot of this stuff. Now, don't think that you have to go and build your own server. That's one way of doing things. There are some advantages to it. You get full control, but you can also use platforms like Cursor Agents or Claude Cloud. All of these options are viable. Now at Codex, they actually have a really nice experience built into their desktop app that works well with your own server. This is the Codex desktop app. You can see my projects down the side. For example, here's Inbox Zero, which runs on my own machine. But you'll also notice that I have this green dot next to a few projects, and this means it's actually running on a remote server. These servers are on the same Tailscale network. If you're not familiar with Tailscale, it's a great way to have all your different devices on the same network, also your mobile phone, also your remote coding server and your device. It's not difficult to set up. Just ask Claude or ChatGPT to help you do it. I have another video where I actually go more into setting up your own remote coding server, but it's not difficult to do. And you can fully lock these devices off to the internet, and only devices on the same network can connect to each other, and they have to SSH in. But the great thing about this is that these remote servers I have running here, they feel exactly the same as just running work on my regular computer. So I can type some prompts here, get the AI to start working, close my laptop. It doesn't matter. It keeps working remotely, but the experience still feels native to my desktop. And then I can also open up the ChatGPT mobile app and continue as well. If I go to the remote section within the mobile app, I can see everything that's happening and continue working. And if you're using Cursor agents or Claude Code, you can do the same thing. They have it built into their apps and you don't even need all this complicated setup. One more thing while we're on the topic of Cursor, one of the really nice features they have in their cloud version is that the computer will automatically record itself. So the LLM can do a recording and then you can see what's happened. So for example, if it created a new front end form, you can actually see what that form looks like without even having to go to the website because the AI has recorded it for you. This is one of the nicest features of Cursor and I don't think it gets enough attention. So if you're a Cursor user, definitely worth taking advantage of that feature. When coding on your phone, there are a few different ways to do this. You can use things like the native Cursor, Claude, or ChatGPT apps when you're using their cloud agents. With ChatGPT, you can actually connect to your remote server from your mobile ChatGPT app, but there are a few other options out there as well. One of them, which I've been using more and more right now, is Moshi. Here you can see the terminal and everything that's running, and they just sort of made it really nice to develop on. Another thing that they've made easy to do is if you're using tools like Tmux or Herder, then it has sort of native integration with that as well. Another one you can use is Termius. I used this a little bit at the beginning, but I wasn't like super in love with it, but I do see people using it. And I think sort of this was the go-to, but now there's a whole new generation of apps coming out that you can use instead. Now I did a recent video on Herder. It sort of works like Tmux. You can go and type Herder and it just runs, but you can also connect to a remote device like so by doing -- remote. And then you can continue coding as usual. Now, the advantage of this is it's under your full control and you can add lots of different add-ons in. Here you can see I can split the screen. I can also have a file viewer. If I do Control B and then F, there's the file viewer. That's popped up, so I can go and see different files on my machine. There are a whole bunch of plugins. There's a review plugin. There's also a mirror plugin. So over here, you can see I've actually got Inbox Zero Mobile running on my Hetzner server, but it shows in my side panel of my regular Herder. It's basically a tool like Conductor, but it's built into your terminal and it will work on any device. And with apps like Moshi or Termius, you can even run it from there and just connect. And even when you disconnect from the server, or if you exit from Herder and then you spin it back up again, it will continue where it left off. And another really nice thing is that everything works via click as well. So there are keyboard shortcuts for everything if you do Control B and then question mark, but I can also just click the close button here and it will go away as well. One tip, if you're doing iOS development and you want your Linux server to go and run it, so you can go and rent a Mac in the cloud, or if you have a Mac mini at home, you could have it go and connect. So here you can see this is all running remotely. I will often have my AI go and connect to the Mac and then go and test it in an actual simulator on a Mac. If you're going to buy a Mac for at home to always be on, then a Mac mini or a Mac Studio is the ideal, but you could also just get an old laptop that you might not be using anymore and use that as well. Or if you want to avoid all of that, Mac in cloud starts at around $25 per month. So it is affordable, although it limits you a little bit in terms of what is and isn't possible. Now, the next tool is Inbox Zero. Inbox Zero is an AI email assistant. I'm actually the founder of the project. Inbox Zero is used by both small teams and huge enterprises with thousands of people. It helps organize your inbox. Here you can see a messy inbox and hopefully what your inbox will look like afterwards. We also draft replies for you. Now, the reason I mention this is that email is a massive headache for most people, especially when you've gone on holiday. You don't want to be constantly looking at your phone, but you don't want your inbox to pile up with thousands of emails. So what Inbox Zero will do is tell you which emails are important to respond to and which aren't. We integrate with lots of different services to keep you notified, and we can automatically organize things like newsletters and marketing emails and just put them to the side for you so you don't need to worry about them and not have them clutter up your inbox. The product is fully customizable to your exact needs. It also integrates with your calendar so it can schedule appointments on your behalf and does lots of other fun stuff. If you're a developer, go give it a start on GitHub. It's free to self-host and plans start at $20 per month if you're using a cloud version. The next tool is TACH Luggage. This is the most underrated product out there. My wife and I love this product. More people should use it. Every time we walk through the airport with this luggage, everyone's just taking pictures of us, which is also fun. We should really become affiliates for TACH luggage. But this is what it looks like. It basically allows you to connect all your luggage together. And what we do is something like this. You can see that 4 suitcases here are connected. They have 2 big ones and 2 smaller ones. The set we have is something like this gray one. We have 3 big ones and 3 small ones. They all connect together. I can literally take all of our suitcases and put a duffel bag on top of them, and even my backpack and other stuff on top. And honestly, you can even fit kids on top, like you can see here. This is actually almost our exact setup, though we don't have like 15 bags on top. And the surprising thing is you will be able to carry all of this with one hand. I could literally be taking a call in my other hand or pushing a stroller while pulling all of this along. These suitcases connect with very strong Velcro, and we've probably used this for at least 10 trips so far. Recently, in the very last trip, one of the Velcros started coming undone. It was still good, although I want to get that fixed. It basically meant that sometimes I had to carry 2 sets of 3, so it's still very manageable, 3 in each hand, and they're easy to roll. But there is one Velcro strap I would like to improve. Undoing the Velcro takes a tiny bit of effort, but it is very quick. And overall, traveling has become so much easier with this luggage, and I don't know how I would travel with 2 kids without this. Basically, what these reviews are saying, there's just a ton of 5-star reviews, and I believe it just because I've had the same experience. I do not understand why I do not see TACH luggage in airports. I just got back from Europe and the Middle East. I did not see anybody else with TACH luggage. I have 2 sets and we love it. So nice to easily connect them and free up hands. And another one, very similar situation to us. We already have 4 of them, great for trips. My daughter loves riding on them while I push it with ease with one hand. So it's not just me saying it. I guess there is one person here complaining with a 1-star. They used it for a year and a half and it seems like the zipper on the mid-sized bag blew out and the handle on the carry-on is broken. I mean, it feels quite harsh after using it for a year and a half to give it a 1-star. We do have one of our zips broken, but there are 2 zips on each bag, so it doesn't actually matter. I don't know how they treat their luggage, but overall, we've had a great experience with it, and I would recommend using it. Families with kids are definitely the ideal customer for this product. Next up is a portable laptop charger. Now, I also love this one. This isn't something I only use for travel. I use it at home the whole time as well. It's just so fun. And I'm actually going to show you it. I have it over here in my hand. You can see I push the button. You can get an idea of the size right now. And you can see that it's at 100% full. This screen, it seems like a gimmick, but it's so much fun. You know exactly how much battery you have in your charger. You know exactly how long it's going to take to charge as well. And you even get to learn about things like watts. So I'll explain this a bit more as I learned quite a lot about how these chargers work. Something amazing about these chargers is the built-in wire. So if you can see over here, I'm pulling it out and I never have to be looking for my wire. This is a USB-C and it doesn't just come with one of them, it comes with 2. So over here, you can see as well, I'm gonna pull this out. It's not difficult to do, I'm just struggling on this video. And here you can see I have another one. And this strap then can close, it just slides in here and I can hold it like this as well. Most new devices can be charged with a USB-C. If you have AirPods, a new iPhone, or a MacBook Pro, and so this is just super helpful. But if you need it, it also has USB-C wire that you can put in and a USB-A slot as well. In total, it can charge up to 4 devices, and this is something I really value as well. Now, if you're looking at Anker, which is a good brand for chargers, it is a little bit pricey. Here you can see this is $120, but I think you can get better deals on this. You can see it's 25,000 milliamp hours and 165 watts. This is another option which is quite similar. I haven't tried it. I didn't like it as much because like just seeing the design and that it doesn't have these built-in cables. So for me, this is the one I would definitely go for, but you do get a tiny boost in milliamp hours, 26,000, and over here up to 300 watts charging. Now, I'll explain what these numbers mean. 165 watts impacts how fast something can charge. So if you have sort of the best Apple chargers, or the biggest ones, they give you 140 watts. And that basically means it can charge at max speed. For an iPhone, you only need up to 20 watts. Anything above that isn't going to help it charge any faster. So what's the advantage of even having 300 watts? Because once you go over 140, there's no real benefit. So the advantage of 300 is you could connect two laptops and they could both be charged up to 140. So both at max speed. For me, I just don't have a need for this. And so I'm not going to spend the extra money to go and buy it. I'm not sure who the customer is that wants that, but more wattage means faster charging for you. Now, about this 165, one thing to note is it won't give you all that power from one slot. It will only give you up to 100 watts. Here you can see 100 watt max power each, but this means you can charge your laptop, plus you can add in a phone at 20, which would be max, and so on. So there are other chargers which will allow you to do even up to 140 on one slot, but frankly, it doesn't really make a difference. I don't think you're going to notice it. Many laptops actually come with regular chargers which give you 90 watts or less for charging, so you don't need to overthink it, in my opinion, and it's not going to damage the battery or anything like that. One thing to note when you're looking at these different chargers, if you're using a charger from a bad brand, you can find much cheaper prices, but you're at risk there if something goes wrong. Having a bad charger can impact the device. Certain brands cost more because they are better. If you go for a cheap AliExpress alternative, you do need to be careful. Just something to bear in mind. I don't work for Anker, obviously, but overall they have quite a good reputation, although their devices are the most premium in the market as well. Now, talking of chargers, I don't own these devices, but other things you can look at which can be really handy are things like this charger, wall charger. Here you can see 140 watt charger, which is great for a laptop. Unfortunately, it's only US plug, so it doesn't actually help me. But what's really nice about it is, one, the screen to see how things are going, but also you have lots of slots for charging. They actually came out with this new one as well. This is 160 watts, and it's really light. It only has 3 slots for charging, but if I was based in America, I'd definitely think about getting this one for my day-to-day. Now, just before we move on, I mentioned this has 25,000 milliamp hours. That basically means it can go and charge a full laptop. Your regular power banks, they'll have somewhere between 5 and 10,000 milliamps. 5,000 should be good for a full phone charge. 10,000 should be 2 or 3 charges depending on the phone, and then 25,000, even if you were using this 25,000 charger just for your phones, it should charge your phone a good 5 times or so. And your laptop, it should be able to basically charge fully 1 time. So if you're working on the couch or just traveling on a plane or even in a cafe, it just means you don't need to worry about running out of battery. However long your battery lasts, if it lasts for 3 or 4 hours, now it should last for 6 or 8 hours instead. Because I love the built-in wire so much in my laptop charger, I also went and bought some other chargers, regular wall chargers that have the wire built in. I bought the one from Ugreen. I think I didn't buy Anker just because they didn't have the right thing for what I wanted. Here you can see what I have. It's in my hand, same idea, and you can see it has this cable built in over here, which is really nice. You never have to be looking for your cable. Now, they have lots of different options. This one is slightly big. I think I'm holding a 45 watt option. We also bought a 60 watt option. This basically means you can fast charge multiple devices at once if you have one of those. You can see here on screen, they also have a device which looks very similar to what we saw from Anker for the laptop charger. And beyond the built-in wire, you'll see that there are also USB-C and USB-A slots to add additional devices for charging when you need it. Here you can see they even have a 100 watt version. You just need to note that this is going to be heavier. The more watts, the heavier it gets. So for a lot of people, 20 watts will be enough. Here you can see there's some 45 version options and so on. Here's a 65. Now, what I'd really like to see is a good version which is for travel as well. I haven't found one of those when I've been researching online, but I would love if I could switch out the plug so it would work in the UK or the US or Europe. For home, I'm fine with this European style adapter, but for travels, especially when going to America, I'd love for it to be able to have a switchable head. Next up are the Meta AI glasses that I'm holding in my hand. I'm going to go and put them on. The case itself charges the glasses. I have a pair of Ray-Ban headliners. I'm wearing them right now. I think overall they look quite good as any glasses would look on me. Now I can take a picture by just pushing this button over here. You'll see the flash of light when a picture is being taken. And if I hold it, it will start taking a video as well. Now, these glasses are really cool for trips, especially with your kids. You can basically be recording things in real time and you don't need to take out a phone to go and do this. When I bought these, I thought they might be a bit of a gimmick. Maybe I'd use them once or twice. I've had them for maybe 2 years now, and we've used them a ton and highly recommend getting a pair. These are slightly older. They are the headliners that I have, but they fit quite well. I wasn't a fan of the Wayfarers. So if you can, go into a shop and try them on to get a feel for them. Since 2 years ago, a lot of new versions have come out, like the Oakley versions over here. The glasses also have AI built in, so I can say, hey Meta, take a photo, and it takes a photo. And I can also take calls on it. So I can listen to music or audiobooks, and I can take calls because it has a microphone and speakers built in. And it actually works quite well. I was walking the other day with my AirPods in my ears, and I didn't actually realize the AirPods weren't connected to my phone. It was actually my glasses, and the entire 15-minute call I took on the glasses, and I only realized right at the end. So the sound was coming from here, and everyone could hear me speaking in the microphone as well. AirPods would work slightly better because it does close within your ear, but basically these work well enough. And there's also a whole new wave of AI glasses that I haven't tried out, but you have Snapchat spectacles, you have all sorts of different AI glasses where you're able to see stuff on screen itself. This could be really cool. No thoughts on them yet. I haven't tried it. Here you can see it's a writing on screen what someone's telling you about how to get somewhere. Listening to get to the station, cross this intersection. So that's super cool. First time I'm actually seeing this, but here you can see the AR working. Here you can see it's teaching you how to play. So really nice. Maybe I'll try them out sometime. And if you're a developer, build would be quite cool actually to look at, like what can you actually build with these things. Here are some of the examples that they have. If you have opinions on the different types of AI glasses, I'm very behind on this stuff. So tell me in the comments below. I would love to hear what the best devices out there are right now. A cool gadget I'm excited for is a foldable phone. Samsung Android phones have had this for years. Here you can see a phone which folds in half. They just released the Fold 8, and this is what the phone usually looks like. It's sort of crazy. I'm sure you would have seen some of these around, and you can see it is still quite thin. I'm really excited for these to come out because I think it will be much easier to code and do stuff with agents when it's available, especially on the go. But the price for these is sort of nuts. The latest Samsung comes in at $2,100, and the Apple release, which is expected in the next few months, it's probably going to be even more expensive. So we'll see. But I've been waiting a while for a phone upgrade, and I might go for one of those when they come out. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to subscribe and let me know what your favorite travel gadgets or AI tools for on the go are.